I was driving alone that night, a long stretch of road ahead, cutting through miles of dense forest. The GPS had stopped working about 20 minutes ago, and I had no signal. My only company was the soft hum of the engine and the occasional flicker of my headlights reflecting off the trees. The road was empty, too empty. No cars ahead, none behind. Just me in the darkness pressing in on both sides. I wasn't supposed to be on this road. I had taken a wrong turn somewhere, maybe back at that last fork, but doubling back didn't feel like an option anymore. The further I drove, the more lost I felt. The map on my dashboard showed nothing but a blank space where the road should be. No towns, no landmarks, just an endless void. Then I saw it. A figure standing on the side of the road, just beyond my headlights' reach. At first, I thought it was a hitchhiker, but something felt off. They weren't holding out a thumb, weren't making any effort to get my attention. Just standing there, facing my car as I approached. I gripped the wheel tighter. My instincts screamed at me to keep going. I told myself it was nothing. Just some traveler who got stranded. Maybe their car had broken down. Maybe they needed help. But as I got closer, I realized something that made my stomach drop. They had no face, just smooth, pale skin where their eyes, nose, and mouth should have been. A chill ran down my spine, but I didn't slow down. My foot pressed harder on the gas, and I swerved slightly to avoid looking at the thing standing there. As I passed, my headlights briefly illuminated it, and my stomach twisted. It wasn't just faceless. It was wrong. Too tall, too thin, its arms hanging lower than they should. And as I sped past, I saw something in my rearview mirror that nearly made me slam the brakes. It turned its head, not like a normal person would. Its entire upper body twisted unnaturally, like it had no spine. And then, it moved. I didn't see it run. 1 second it was standing there, the next it was closer. Still on the side of the road, but definitely closer. I couldn't breathe. My hands felt clammy against the wheel. My heart pounded in my ears as I forced myself to keep driving. I needed to get away from this road, from whatever the hell that thing was. But just as my nerves started to settle, I saw something ahead that nearly made me lose control of the car. Another figure, standing in the middle of the road this time. My headlights hit them directly, and my stomach clenched. They looked exactly the same. Too tall, too thin, featureless. But this one moved. Its head jerked slightly like it was acknowledging me. Then it took a slow, deliberate step forward. I didn't have time to think. I swerved, barely missing it, my tires skidding against the cracked pavement. The car shook violently, and for a terrifying second, I thought I was going to crash. But I managed to straighten the wheel, my breath coming in sharp gasps. I forced myself to look in the rearview mirror. The first one was still standing there. The second one was gone. A sound filled the car then. A low, distorted noise, like something trying to speak, but failing. It was coming from my radio. The static had been playing softly in the background since I lost signal. But now there was something inside it. A whisper. Something just barely audible beneath the crackling. Turn back. I swallowed hard, my fingers trembling against the wheel. I was too afraid to look at the mirror again. Too afraid to see if there were more of them. But the whispering didn't stop. It grew louder, more urgent, the static warping into something that sounded almost like laughter. And then my headlights flickered. For half a second, the road went completely dark. When the lights came back on, something was in the passenger seat. My breath caught in my throat. I didn't turn my head. I couldn't, but I could feel it. The weight in the seat beside me, the presence of something that wasn't there a second ago. The air felt thick, heavy, like the space around me had folded in on itself. The radio crackled again, the whispers turning into something wet and distorted, like someone trying to speak through a mouth full of water. I gripped the wheel so tight my knuckles ached. My mind screamed at me to keep driving, to not look, to pretend I didn't notice. But then it breathed. A slow, rattling inhale right next to my ear. That's when my body betrayed me. I turned my head. For a split second, I saw it. Something pale and smooth, inches from my face. It had no eyes, no mouth, no features at all, but I knew it was looking at me, studying me. And then the car swerved. I didn't remember jerking the wheel, but suddenly I was veering off the road. My tires hit gravel, and I fought for control, my hands shaking as I yanked the wheel back. The car fishtailed, skidding wildly before finally slamming back onto the pavement. My heart pounded against my ribs. My breaths came in ragged gasps. And when I finally dared to glance at the passenger seat, it was empty. I swallowed hard, forcing myself to focus on the road. My hands trembled on the wheel, my mind racing to make sense of what just happened. Maybe I was hallucinating. Maybe exhaustion was messing with my head. But then I looked in the mirror, and I saw something that nearly made my heart stop. There were more of them, lining the road on both sides, dozens. Tall, thin, faceless figures standing perfectly still, their heads slightly tilted, watching. I pressed the gas pedal to the floor. My engine roared as I sped forward, my entire body shaking. I had no idea where I was going, but I knew one thing. I had to get out of here. But then, my headlights illuminated something ahead. A road sign. White, rusted, the letters barely visible under the dirt and age. It read, "Wrong Turn Road. No exit." And just beyond the sign, standing in the middle of the road, was me. A perfect copy. Standing still, watching, waiting. My blood turned ice cold. The figure standing in the middle of the road wasn't just similar to me, it was me. Same height, same build, same clothes. Even in the dim glow of my headlights, I could see the exact rip on my jacket sleeve, the one I got earlier that day. But its face, it wasn't right. The skin was too smooth, the features just slightly off, like someone had tried to recreate me from memory but forgot the smallest details. The eyes were there, but vacant. The mouth curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. And then it moved. One step forward. My foot slammed the brake instinctively, but the second I stopped, I knew I had made a mistake. The second I stopped, they moved. The figures on the roadside. All of them. Dozens of faceless beings standing still just seconds ago were now closer. Some had stepped onto the pavement, their unnatural bodies tilting toward me. I could hear them now, soft, shuffling movements, like dry leaves rustling against the ground. And then, my twin spoke, not with its mouth. Its lips didn't move. The words just happened, slipping into the space between my ears. "You shouldn't be here." My chest tightened. My breathing turned shallow. I needed to move. I slammed my foot on the gas, tires screeching as I aimed the car straight at the thing blocking my way. My instincts screamed at me to run it over, to break through whatever nightmare this was. But just before impact, It vanished. 1 second, my headlights were about to hit its body. The next, nothing, like it had never been there. And then, from behind me, a whisper. Wrong way. I didn't turn around. I couldn't turn around. But I could feel them. Something was in the back seat. The air turned suffocating, thick with the scent of something damp and rotten. My hands trembled on the wheel, my body locked up. And then, through the rearview mirror, a shadow moved. Not a reflection, not a trick of the light. Something inside the car. I forced my shaking hands to grip the wheel tighter. My mind screamed at me to do something, but before I could react, a cold hand touched my shoulder. I nearly lost control of the car. My whole body jerked, my muscles seizing with pure terror. The hand on my shoulder wasn't just cold. It felt wrong, too long, too thin. The fingers pressed down lightly, almost testing me, like whatever was back there was curious. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. And then it squeezed. A sharp, ice-cold pressure digging into my skin. My vision blurred for a second as a wave of dizziness hit me. I fought the urge to look in the rearview mirror to confirm what my instincts already knew. I wasn't alone in the car anymore. The whispers were back. Soft, overlapping voices, murmuring things I couldn't understand. Some sounded amused, others impatient. Then, clear as day, one voice cut through the static. "You need to stop." I did the opposite. I slammed my foot on the gas. The engine roared as the speedometer needle shot up. The trees blurred past, the road stretching endlessly ahead. But no matter how fast I drove, the feeling of that hand didn't go away. Then, something even worse happened. My headlights flickered, not once, twice. Then, darkness. The car shut off completely. No engine, no dashboard lights, no headlights, just pitch black nothingness. And then, from behind me, the sound of something crawling, slow, deliberate, dragging movements across the back seat, the weight shifting, the leather creaking under something that shouldn't be there. My fingers fumbled, shaking, trying to turn the key in the ignition, but my hands were drenched in sweat. My grip slipped. The car stayed dead. And then, right next to my ear, "You're going the wrong way," I snapped. I turned my head. For the first time, I looked, and I saw it. Twisted limbs, pale skin stretched too tight over its face. No eyes, no nose, just a grin, my grin, warped and stretched across its featureless face. And then it lunged. I didn't have time to scream. The thing lunged, its grotesque limbs moving in a jerky, unnatural way. And I did the only thing I could. I threw myself forward, slamming my forehead against the steering wheel. Pain exploded in my skull, but the sudden movement must have been enough to throw it off because the weight behind me vanished. For a second, there was nothing but silence. Then, the car turned back on. The headlights blazed to life, the dashboard flickered, and the engine roared like it had never died in the first place. But something was wrong. The road had changed. The trees were gone. The long, winding asphalt had been replaced by something else entirely, something impossible. I was driving on a road made of old, rotting wooden planks. They groaned under the weight of my tires, some shifting slightly as I sped forward. The air was thick with fog, and I couldn't see more than a few feet ahead. And then I saw them. Figures. Not just standing anymore. They were moving, crawling. Some were dragging themselves across the wooden road on all fours, their faceless heads tilting, their limbs bending the wrong way. Others swayed as they walked, their bodies twitching with each step. But the worst part? They were getting closer. I pressed the gas pedal to the floor, but my speed didn't change. No matter how hard I pushed, the car just rolled forward like something else had taken control. And then, the road ended. A dead end. I slammed the brakes, my tires screeching against the damp wood, but it was too late. The car slid forward and fell. For a moment I was weightless, and then the car hit something hard. But it wasn't the ground, it was water. Black, ice-cold water swallowed the car whole, rushing in through the vents, the doors, the cracks. My breath caught in my throat as freezing liquid filled the space around me. I scrambled for the door handle, but it wouldn't budge. The water rose to my chest, then my neck, then a hand shot up from the darkness beneath me. Not human, not right. It wrapped around my wrist, and as it pulled me under, I finally saw where I was. Not a lake, not a river. I was sinking into a vast, endless abyss. And down below, in the pitch-black depths, hundreds of them were waiting. My lungs burned as the freezing water swallowed me whole. The hand around my wrist pulled harder, dragging me downward into the pitch-black abyss. I thrashed, kicking wildly, my free hand clawing at the water, desperate to break free. But then, I saw them. Dozens, no hundreds. Pale, twisted figures floating in the darkness below me, their faceless heads tilted upward, their bodies eerily still. But I could feel it. Every single one of them was watching me. And then, all at once, they moved. Not swimming, not drifting, rushing toward me. Their elongated arms stretched forward, their bodies jerking unnaturally as they surged upward. Their mouths, God, they had mouths now, gaping wide in silent, hungry screams. My chest tightened. I was running out of air. My vision blurred, dark spots creeping in from the edges. I clawed at my wrist, trying to rip free from the icy grip pulling me down, but it was too strong. Just as the first of them reached me, just as I felt skeletal fingers grazing my skin, I hit solid ground. I gasped, choking on air, my body heaving. I was no longer underwater, no longer sinking. I was lying on my back, staring up at a sky that shouldn't exist. A deep, endless red stretched above me, swirling like thick smoke. The air was hot and heavy, pressing down on my chest. My hands dug into the ground beneath me. Not dirt, not grass. It was wood, rotten, creaking planks beneath my fingers. The same wooden road from before. I pushed myself up, my head spinning, my body drenched in ice-cold water. My breath came in ragged gasps as I took in my surroundings. I wasn't alone. A figure stood just a few feet away, not one of them. This one was different, taller, more defined, and as I looked closer, my stomach twisted into knots. It was me. Again. But this time, it was perfect. No unnatural smoothness, no warped features. It was me in every way, down to the soaked clothes, the frantic rise and fall of its chest, the fear flickering in its eyes. But then, it smiled. Not forced, not unnatural. A real smile. And then it spoke. Finally. You made it. My skin crawled. The voice, it was mine. But there was something else underneath it. Like a second voice whispering the same words at the same time. Too deep, too hollow. I stumbled back, my breath catching in my throat. The rotten wood beneath me creaked. The air smelled thick and damp, like old decay left too long in the sun. The other me took a step forward. I've been waiting for you. I shook my head. My body screamed at me to run, to get as far away from this thing as possible. But my legs wouldn't move. It was like something was holding me here. You don't remember, do you? It asked, tilting its head. I forced myself to speak, my throat dry and tight. Remember what? The smile widened. How many times you've been here? A cold shiver ran down my spine. I opened my mouth to argue, but before I could get the words out, the ground shifted. Not an earthquake, not a normal movement. The wooden planks beneath me started to bend, curling upward like something massive was stirring beneath them. The air vibrated, a low guttural hum echoing all around us. I took another step back, but this time, I heard it. A second set of footsteps. Behind me. Slow. Deliberate. I didn't want to turn around. I shouldn't turn around. But something made me. And the second I did, my stomach dropped. There were more of them, more versions of me, lined up in a perfect row, standing motionless in the swirling red haze. Some were identical. Some weren't. One had no eyes, another had no mouth. One was taller, its limbs stretched just a little too long. Another had skin that looked burned, blackened and peeling, revealing something raw underneath. And all of them were smiling. The first me stepped closer, whispering, "You always come back." A sudden sharp pain shot through my skull. Images flashed behind my eyes. A road, a car crash, a drowning sensation, hands pulling me down, and then a memory. This isn't the first time I've been here. I've done this before, again and again and again. I clutched my head as a horrible realization sank in. I never left. And this time, I might never get out. A sharp ringing filled my ears, drowning out everything else. My head pounded, my vision swam, and for a moment, I felt like I was slipping, like something was pulling me deeper into the truth I wasn't ready to face. The other versions of me just stood there, their eerie smiles frozen in place, watching, waiting. The first me, the perfect one, stepped even closer. "You're starting to remember, aren't you?" I squeezed my eyes shut. "No, this isn't real. This can't be real." It let out a small chuckle. Not mocking, not cruel, patient. "That's what you always say." The wooden planks beneath us creaked louder, groaning as if they were about to split apart. The red sky above seemed to pulse, the color shifting, swirling, darkening. Something was coming. I felt it. A presence. Bigger than me. Bigger than this place. A deep, low rumbling beneath us, like something massive was waking up from a long, restless sleep. I staggered back, my heartbeat thundering in my ears. "I don't belong here." The perfect me tilted its head. "Then why do you keep coming back?" I opened my mouth, but then I heard it. A sound that made my blood turn ice cold, a car horn, long, hollow, echoing from somewhere far away. The moment it rang through the air, the other versions of me twitched all at once. Their heads snapped toward the sky, their smiles fading. Their bodies tensed, like something had just changed. The perfect me turned, looking past me into the swirling red haze. "Huh," it murmured. "That's new." I didn't wait. I ran, past them, past the twisted, warped versions of myself, past the endless wooden planks that shouldn't have existed. The horn blared again, louder this time, and then I saw it. A road, not the endless cursed wooden planks. A real road, black asphalt, slick with rain, stretching out in the distance, and headlights. Two bright, shining headlights, coming straight at me. It was a car, moving fast. I barely had time to react before the impact hit, and everything went black. I expected pain, the kind that crushes bones, shatters ribs, rips the air from your lungs. But there was nothing. No impact, no weight, just silence. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't on the wooden road anymore. I was back in my car. The engine was running. The dashboard lights flickered softly. The rain tapped against the windshield, steady and rhythmic. The road stretched ahead, dark and empty. It was like nothing had happened. My breath came in short gasps as I gripped the steering wheel, my fingers trembling. My rearview mirror was cracked. My reflection was warped, barely visible through the jagged web of broken glass. I swallowed hard, trying to steady myself. My mind screamed at me to move, to drive, to get the hell away from whatever just happened. But then, something moved in the back seat. Slow, subtle, a faint creak of leather, a whisper. "See you next time." I froze. My eyes darted to the mirror, and in the shattered reflection, I saw someone sitting behind me, someone with my face, and they were smiling.